One more day, guys, and still not really feeling any better. I'm just kind of in a funk these last few days. I don't know what the problem is. Right now I'm feeling it might be food related just because I haven't really eaten anything since yesterday lunch, and it's basically lunchtime. So it's about a 24-hour fast. Fast. I had a coffee this morning, but you know what I mean. And so, I wish I had more insight, but it just feels like I'm in a funk, and I've been feeling super cravey and just a lack of motivation for anything, and it's also, we're keeping things focused on this health journey and weight loss and stuff, and so we're looking at all of those metrics, but there's other shit going on. So I don't know if that is contributing at all to this, but just feeling really out of it, really out of it. And so for the last 45 minutes, I've been trying to convince myself to eat something, but there's nothing interesting, like I know that not every meal has to be interesting or delicious or something, but it's just, I don't know, like if something was already made for me and all I had to do was just put it down, that might be easier. But finding that motivation to make something that I'm just not at all excited to eat, and not even excited, remotely interested. And so, the struggle is real. And again, this is when things start to get a little more complicated, because we are 40 days in. This is not new anymore. And I think that at this point is when we start getting into the real sort of long-term, I don't even know what I'm saying. When it becomes real, when it becomes what the long-term situation is going to be, as opposed to the excitement from the beginning, which is great. And I knew that was the case. And I knew that we would get to this point, and that's why we're creating a system around it that is going to work on our worst days, the last few days. But yeah, it is not pleasant. It does not feel good. So I decided that the only thing that I was remotely interested in that sort of got me a tiny bit, reaction out of me, is if I make a shrimp quesadilla. I don't know why this thing with cheese is right now, and I'm sure that it won't be forever, but I seem to be going through a cheese phase right now during this weight loss journey. And so, again, trying to figure out little by little what in this particular moment is going to be enough to keep me going, while at the same time making sure that things are not falling off the deep end. So let's figure out how to make a delicious quesadilla that'll meet our macros, and yeah, we'll take it from there. All right, let me get my stuff ready and see you guys in a bit. Okay, so for this, we're gonna do 2 tortillas, and we're gonna do 200 grams of the wild caught shrimp. We're doing 200 grams of mozzarella. We're doing 135 grams of mushrooms. These are frozen mushrooms, and 30 grams of butter to cook the mushrooms and the shrimpies before we put them in the quesadilla. So this is what we're doing. I'm gonna get this going while I deshell the shrimp, and then we'll sort of saute everything in there and then just make our quesadillas. And it should be delicious. And you know, there's a little motivation just because of that, but okay, we keep going. Okay, and here it is. Actually, it does look pretty good. So it's very appetizing, but yeah, it's, again, you know, it's just in a bad mood, which happens. And so as I was cooking this, I was sort of having a moment of introspection and thinking about how this is the kind of thing that extremist me beforehand would have said, okay, now this is breaking the program and sort of taking that to the extreme and giving ourselves license to, like, you know what, let's just eat whatever we want and we'll start next Monday. But, you know, when we think about it like this, nutritionally, not as bad. You know, again, you know, is it perfect, great nutrition? No. But it's not horrible. And so let's take a look at what this is. So we have 2 tortillas. Those are 42 grams of carbs between the 2 of them, 6 grams of protein and 5 grams of fat. 200 grams of the shrimp, that's no carbs, 41 grams of protein and 4 grams of fat, so basically pure protein. Then we have 200 grams of mozzarella, that's 14 grams of carbs, 43 grams of protein and 43 grams of fat. We have 135 grams of mushrooms that basically don't really add anything. 4 grams of carbs, 3 grams of protein, 1 gram of fat. But they're the way that Lumen counts it is non-starchy veggies. Their carbs don't really count towards your total carb allowance. And then 30 grams of butter, which is basically pure fat. So this meal has, let's take a look at it, 1,284 calories. And that gets us just over halfway for our protein and carbs and about 2/3 of the way for our fat for today. So overall, not bad. And this is probably gonna make it so that I have a slightly easier day because it will be delicious. And so that's the plan, right? Like that's the like that's what we're going for, right? There's a part of me that still feels guilty doing this, eating like this. And it's, you know, that part that's got me in trouble before. And I think to a lot of us, it has. Mushrooms are a great addition to this. So I guess it's just a matter of perspective and making sure that there are some of these things that can help us keep going when we're having a tough day, so that when we have good days, and hopefully there will be more good days than bad days, we can push a little bit, you know, more and improve. But this is really good. It's going straight to here, straight to my heart. Not just because of the fat, but because it's comforting. All right, guys. I'm gonna eat this. I'm trying to get back to work, and let's see if we can do a shake for dinner. I'm really gonna try. All right, hang in there. We keep pushing. All right, see you guys for dinner. Well, hello everyone. It's actually not dinner time, but the next day. Yeah, I was really struggling yesterday, like bad. And I don't know if it necessarily had to do with food or anything like that. I just felt really tired and ended up deciding that I needed to take a mental health day. And so, yeah, basically like mid-afternoon, I just completely disconnected from everything. And we order food in, and I stayed mostly within, I shouldn't say mostly, I stayed within, what we're supposed to do. So I'll give you guys just a quick rundown of it. So I order this from the Cheesecake Factory, which is the stuff that I basically always get. It's steak, mushrooms and onions, and mashed potatoes. And even though yesterday was a low carb day, and white potatoes are not necessarily the most nutritious of carbs for a low carb day, again, seem to be going through a difficult time, just in a funk. And so I'm doing whatever I can to make sure that I don't veer off course too much while still trying to make some progress forward. So what I ended up doing was this, and you guys can see it here. So I did this thing from Cheesecake Factory called Steak Diane, 61 grams of carbs, 76 of protein, and 65 of fat. And then that gives us this for, I'm just going to take this macros for the day. So it was a little bit higher in calories, 2483. And we went over in fat and protein a little bit, but we stayed 2 grams under in carbs, which is good, which is, great. It's what we want. And so since the day before was kind of lower in calories and this one a little bit higher in calories, overall, over the 2 days, we're actually pretty good, in calories. So, yeah, that's basically it. It's actually, the next day. So let me close this out here because we have a very busy day tomorrow for you guys, right now for me. So let me just get on with that. I will see you guys tomorrow.